Let's talk about the Pokemon meme that's defined 2019. No, not Astonished Pikachu, that was a 2018 meme. And as much as I love Scottish Pokemon Trainer Girl, and as fun as that meme is, that's not what I'm thinking of either. And as for that, well, that's just a Yu-Gi-Oh meme. No, I'm talking about Furret. I mean, just look at them, walking there, for hours on end, while the Accumulatown theme from Pokemon Black and White plays. Wow, what a time to be alive. So, today on Master Trainer, let's go over some facts about Pokemon number 162, a Pokemon that I've had my inbox flood with requests to cover over the past few weeks, a Pokemon that was first introduced in Pokemon Gold and Silver versions, and a Pokemon that I, for some reason, always mix up with Linoone. And that Pokemon, of course, is Furret. Number 1. Like with many Pokemon, we can get a nice look into how Furret act in the wild, or even in domestic situations, through their Pokedex entries. Now, it's no secret that people in the Pokemon world eat Pokemon, but many folks don't seem to realize that Pokemon are also known to eat other Pokemon out in the wild. One example of this is shown in Furret's Pokedex entry from Pokemon Silver version, which reads as follows. There is no telling where the tail begins. Despite its short legs, it is quick at hunting Rattata. This is to say, Furret is one of Rattata's natural predators. It also makes me wonder, despite the presence of feline Pokemon such as Meowth and Purloin, and Furret being based off of a ferret, not a cat, in the Pokemon world, is Furret the Pokemon of choice for pest control? If anyone from Game Freak is watching, please let me know. Number 2. One of the most famous changes in the Pokemon series is how Pikachu has slimmed down considerably since the 90s. And honestly, good on them getting in shape, but that's not the only design change that's happened throughout the series. I mean, at one point Kakuna had arms, and Koffing's face was located below the crossbones design on its body instead of above it. Furret too has had a small change made to its design over time. In most appearances, Furret appears to have a cream-colored face and front neck, a dark brown head and back neck, and the rest of its body is covered in these alternating bands of those two colors. But in Pokemon Gold and Silver versions, Furret also had a white patch of fur that appeared like a mask covering its eyes, perhaps symbolizing Furret's sneakiness? Honestly, I'm not sure why Furret had this addition to its design there, but I also don't know why it stopped appearing in every iteration of its design post-Pokemon Crystal version. Perhaps the removal of this white patch of fur from Furret's design is just going to be another one of those Pokemon mysteries that we never get an answer to. Number 3. Here's a quick fact. In most languages, Furret's name is just a direct translation of its English name. However, that does not go for the French, who instead opted to call this quick, sneaky, snooping Pokemon Fouine, which literally just translates to the word snoop. Number 4. So as many of us know, as the Pokedex has shown time and time again, some Pokemon are just much bigger or smaller than you'd probably expect. For example, Budew, though appearing about the same size as a medium-sized dog in the games, is actually only 20 centimeters tall, or roughly 8 inches for those of you who like to use fake measurements. Meanwhile, Wailord is, well, Wailord is just absurdly massive. As for Furret, instead of being similar in size to an actual ferret, which is very, very small, it's actually an entire 1.8 meters long. For perspective, on its hind legs, your average Furret would be just as tall as your resident cute snarky Poketuber here. Now, that's fine and all, but what if I told you that you could get an official life-size Furret plush? Seriously, just look at how big this thing is, and you can order it online from the Pokemon Center store. So what I'm saying is, it's time to throw away your Madoka body pillow and get yourself a life-size plush Furret. Number 5. Okay, so for number 5, I couldn't actually find anything interesting enough to be another Furret fact, so instead, let's go over 3 quick facts about Furret's inspiration. Ferrets. Number 1. Ferrets are the domesticated equivalent of the European polecat. They can be found across the globe, and due to their similarities with the polecat, can actually breed with them and birth hybrids. However, due to being non-native to many countries, if certain conditions are met, they can actually wreak havoc on native ecosystems. Such a thing happened in New Zealand. In fact, due to the extent at which ferrets destroyed native fauna there, in 2002, the government of New Zealand went so far as to place heavy restrictions on keeping them as pets. For the second ferret fact, Like skunks, when frightened, ferrets will make use of a scent gland in their anus to release a potent smell to scare away enemies. As a result, in the United States, most ferrets that are sold as pets will have this gland removed before being placed up for adoption. However, in many other parts of the world, such as in most of Europe, this is considered unnecessary mutilation and is thus either heavily frowned upon or outright banned. For the third ferret fact, I know I made the joke about Ferret hunting Rattata earlier and that trait not being given to some cat-like Pokemon, but actually that trait of Ferret is based off of real-life ferrets. You see, for centuries, hunters have used ferrets as well, ferreters, who are typically tasked with hunting down either rabbits or moles in wooded areas, or mice and other rodents in cities and other industrialized areas. And now here's a bonus fourth fact. When I was a kid, I really wanted a ferret as a pet. I thought they were super cute, and I still do, and I feel much the same way about its Pokemon counterpart. However, that never panned out, mostly just due to most people I know, including my parents, telling me that ferrets were typically extremely mean. But I mean, does this look like the face of evil to you? So with that, let me know what you think about Ferret and ferrets down in the comment section below, and while you're at it, subscribe to Master Trainer for more great content like this. Maybe even go and give the Accumulatown theme a listen again. So, I'll see you next time.